Hey, kids, what is up? Welcome back to Tom Clark Reviews, the only quick hits pop culture show featuring a guy named Tom Clark who looks like this, wearing this, and saying stuff. Before we get started here today, kids, if you will, do me a big favor. Hit like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications so you don't miss any future content from Boink Studios. So we're doing something a little bit different today, as you can see by the thumbnail. This is a spoiler-heavy episode of the show. You know what that means? If you haven't seen Happy Gilmore 2 yet on the Netflix, then get ready, kids, because we'll spoil the life out of it. We're not going to do a big, insane deep dive. If you're familiar with Tom Clark 6M podcast, first of all, thank you. We appreciate your time and your business, but that's not what this is here today. We are not doing an insane deep dive from start to finish. We did talk about the trailer to this movie, actually on an earlier episode of Tom Clark Reviews here. If you haven't checked that out, you can see it there on the screen. Go back and give that a watch, give it a look, tell us what you think ahead of time. We don't spoil anything in that because we didn't know anything at the time. Well, brother, we know stuff now because we watched the movie. So again, if you're ready, get ready, prepare yourself, because again, kids, as I said earlier, this is a spoiler-heavy episode. You have been warned. All right, let's get on to it. My honest take, and you guys know I'm honest with you cats from day one, always have been. And I'm coming to you as a fan. I've been a comic book fan for my entire life. I'm a pop culture guy. I love this stuff. If I don't like something, I'm usually not going to talk about it, okay? Because I don't like to put negativity out there. Having said all of that, if I'm being blunt, I did not enjoy this movie. Now, look, full disclosure, when we reviewed the trailer here on the show, I warned everybody then that I just didn't know how it looked. I didn't know if, it was the right idea to do a part two. To me, it looked very formulaic. The entire trailer for part two looked like a carbon copy, a cookie cutter, if you will, of part one. Well, guess what, kids? That's what we got in part two. I was 2/3 of the way watching this film, and I'm not BSing you here. I said out loud, 2/3 of the way in, I think this might be one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Now, having said that, it's okay if you don't agree with me. It is not the end of the world that I didn't enjoy this movie. Okay, I'm just being straight with you. And I'm not here to review bomb. I'm not here to hate on Adam Sandler or any of the cast or anything like that. In fact, I'm a big fan of the cast. I thought this movie maybe could have been awesome, right? And in some way, it wasn't awesome for me. Can't speak for you. Don't know how you feel about it. All right, so within the first 5 minutes of the film, if it's even 5 minutes, he accidentally kills his wife. Yeah, Happy accidentally kills his wife. I'm like, is that what we're doing? And then he spends the rest of the time being an alcoholic, and then he eventually recovers, and then he has to get back into the PGA, get back into playing professional golf because his daughters want to go to dance school in Paris, which is not cheap. It's $75K a year, of which John Daly can't do the math. It's a nice little gag. Look, they lost me from the beginning. I didn't shut down. I didn't say, well, click, turn it off or nothing like that. I said, look, in for a penny, in for a pound, right? So I stuck with it. And because I wanted to see how it was going to play out. I did not care for that at all. I thought, if they were determined to kill her off, I guess you can do that. But at the same time, I had a hard time understanding why they would kill her off in such a fashion. And also, why in the world they would make Happy responsible for it. As if this guy didn't have enough trouble, enough problems. I guess they had to drive the point home that, Happy's kind of become a loser over the past 10 years, right? And so they had to, heap more crap on him, just pile it down on me, oh Lord, I can take it, right? I mean, that's kind of what they did. Not kind of, that's totally what they did to the character. I just didn't know if it was necessary, if I'm being straight. I just didn't know if it was actually necessary to do all of that. I mean, if you want to kill her off, fine, but to make Happy responsible, honestly, I could have done without that. Let's talk about his kids, though. As we said before, yes, his daughter is wanting to go to dance school in Paris. And yes, we did say that his wife, Virginia Bennett, is dead in this movie. Again, within the first 5 minutes, they show her in clips along the way, but she has expired. She has ceased to be. But his kids are very much alive and well, and he's got 4 sons here, and it's Gordy, Wayne, Bobby, and Terry. And these sons, by the way, the sons are fantastic. MJF is one of them. If you're a pro wrestling guy, you know who Maxwell Jacob Friedman is. Fantastic. Fantastic. He doesn't have a whole lot to do in this movie, but what he did do was great. Becky Lynch shows up in the film later in a role that's very, very odd. I mean, I guess it's fine. But, his kids are great. And I think they do a fairly good job of kind of beefing up the idea that Happy has his kids and he had his wife and they were a happy little family unit. Even though he had slipped from the mainstream, he'd slipped out of the public eye, he'd stopped playing golf a long time ago, stopped playing golf, after he accidentally killed Virginia, right? But, Happy's a loser, right? His kids keep him centered. They keep him grounded. They're crazy. They're as crazy as he is. But I did like that fact that they did ground it in some sort of reality is the wrong word, but at least there's some heart to it, which I think I did mention in our trailer preview from before here in the show, that, Happy Gilmore at its best in that film was the heart that they showed. And even though it was slapstick, even though it was ridiculous and bizarre and none of this stuff could ever actually happen, right? Although I do submit that the first Happy Gilmore paved the way for the rise of Tiger Woods, but that's just me talking. But I digress. The point of the matter is that when heart is included in this character's universe, everything tends to go a lot better. I just don't know if I got enough of this in here. And again, 2/3 of the way into this film, I was out. Not out. Again, I finished the film, right? I finished watching the movie. But it was just too much. It was like, it's like your favorite meal and then they just pile more on top. Okay, I don't know how else to explain it. Like say you get dessert and they come along and pour an entire cup of sugar on top. Then they put another cup of sugar on top. Then they put another cup. At some point, I'm like, I can't take anymore. It got that bad for me. But that's me. Again, I'm not trying to throw anybody on the bus. I'm not even saying that it's a horrible film. Is it one of the worst films I've personally ever seen? Yeah, for sure. But again, that's just me. That's just one guy. Am I sorry that this movie exists? Not necessarily, nothing like that, because you know why? As I said many times here on the show, if you've ever watched me, I say this all the time, they didn't take part one away from me. I still have the first Happy Gilmore, of which I'm a big fan, okay? And yes, we did cover the first Happy Gilmore on Tom Clark's 6M podcast. You knew I'd sneak it in there, didn't you? You knew it was coming. Don't play, don't lie. You knew it was coming. Just click, and you can look above, and you can get it there too. But there you go. Go check it out in the 6M. We did review it. I'm just saying. So anyway, am I glad this movie exists? Sure, right? But it's just too much. The guest stars here are fantastic. Bad Bunny's actually really good in this movie. Not that I expected any less. I kind of like that dude anyway. But I mean, I thought he did a bang-up job here. The golf pros that are in this movie are fantastic. Everybody seems to fit in some weird way. But we also have, as I mentioned before, we got John Daly, we got Post Malone, we got Travis Kelce. We've got all these stars. We got the old pros. Jack Nicklaus is in this movie. We've got the golf pros. We've got a mix of celebrities here as well. You get called up and say, would you like to be in a Happy Gilmore movie? Sure. If your name's Eminem, would you like to be in a Happy Gilmore movie? Sure, I'll do it. Eminem shows up, and he's actually really, really funny. It's near the end, okay? But, at the same time, is it too much? I don't know. I didn't really get too wrapped up in, the golf pros and the celebrities and stuff like that. I don't think that any of that was necessarily too much. To be honest, it was the story. It was just too many gags. It was almost like they were trying to shove too much stuff into this film, if I'm being straight. And again, I'm always blunt with you guys. Again, at the end of the day, if you're asking me, Tom, should I waste my time watching this? You should absolutely watch this movie. There's enough here to keep you entertained. I'm not saying it's the worst movie ever made, okay? I never said that. But I'm just being straight with you in my honest feeling, my honest take. I'm just giving you everything today here. Again, I'm just being honest as much as I can. This movie should exist. Okay, how about that? How about that? Even if you maybe you come away from it not loving it that much, or maybe you feel the exact same way I do, or check this out. You could come away saying, Tom, you're full of mud, dude. This movie rocks. This movie's awesome. Okay, I don't know. Maybe you will. If so, Mazel tov, good on you. But at the same time, again, I'm just going to give you my blunt take because I'm always honest with you guys. Always have been, always will be. So that's kind of just what I'm doing here today. Let's also talk about Haley Joel Osment real quick. The I See Dead People kid. He's great in this movie. It's kind of unexpected when he shows up, but he's great. He's so funny. This guy's just naturally talented. I just think he's you know, I hate that we don't see him enough. You know, maybe it's just that I'm not following his career as much as I should be. But granted, maybe that's what's going on here. But I thought he was great in this movie, man. The performances are not the problem, really. There's really no problem here with performances for me, anyway. I can't say, well, that miscast. Dude, it's a slapstick comedy about a hockey player that plays golf and he killed his wife in the first 5 minutes accidentally. There's like alligators and stuff, and there's Chubbs with a wooden hand and Chubb's son with another wooden hand. Well, shocker, coincidence. I don't know what to call that. I mean, how serious do you want to take this stuff, right? So I didn't go into this thing thinking I was going to walk out of it with the most amazing film I'd ever seen, you know, an Oscar-worthy film or anything like that. Did I expect to have a few laughs? I did, and I had a few laughs, if I'm being honest. But apart from that, again, at least for me, it just didn't land. But let's talk about the arch nemesis, Happy's villain, the primary antagonist of this movie. Well, I guess we kind of think he's going to be the primary antagonist, but ends up not being the primary antagonist. Anyway, get to it. Shooter McGavin. Shooter, right? Let me tell you something right now. If you were not a fan of Christopher McDonald as Shooter McGavin, I don't know what to say to you. If this movie is worth anything, it's worth watching for Shooter McGavin. You know, we reviewed the Flash movie over on the 6M podcast. I won't throw the card up there. Maybe I will. Anyway. If you want to go check that out, you're more than welcome to. And by the way, I appreciate it if you would. I wasn't in love with that film, but when anybody asks me, well, Tom, what do you think of the Flash movie? I'm like, well, go see it for Michael Keaton. Watch Happy Gilmore 2 if for no other reason you're watching for Chris McDonald as Shooter McGavin. And honestly for Adam Sandler as Happy. But again, not here to crap on anything, just trying to put that out there. But Shooter is fantastic. He's just so good. He fits right back into his role again. The animosity between he and Happy is still there, but it kind of dies out. They end up playing nice, which is something that maybe you wouldn't see happen, although it was teased online before we ever got to this point. So anyway, there you go. But look, again, I think you should just go, you know, sort of make your own judgment call. Go give this movie a chance, and then you come away from it and tell me what you think. By the way, speaking of telling me what you think, before we continue here today, have you seen it? Did you hate it? Did you love it? Do me a favor, kids. Hit me in the comments and let's talk about it. By the way, the primary antagonist of this movie is Benny Safdie. He's here as the leader of a brand new, you know, golf league. Just think of the XFL if it were golf, and then you kind of have some sort of idea of what we're talking about here. As Frank Manatee, there's a running joke about he has skunk breath, and it's really weird because after a while it gets to be kind of old and doesn't really land all that well. But they run with it to the end. They're committed to the gag, kids. They're committed to the gag. But again, folks, there's lots of guest stars here. A lot of stuff to sink your teeth into. I told you it's going to be a quick hits. Tom Clark Reviews a quick hits show here, folks. We don't do 30 minutes to an hour here on this show. Not this show anyway, okay? We like to get in, we like to give you what we think, and we like to get out and get on with the rest of our day. So that's what we're doing here today. Do I recommend you watching Happy Gilmore 2? Absolutely. Why not? If you got the Netflix anyway, you're already paying for it. Go watch Happy Gilmore 2. Two-thirds of the way in, you may agree with me and say it's the worst crap I ever saw. Click. Or you may say, that Tom dude in his black hoodie, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Hey, look, I don't know, man. Up to you. But again, I would absolutely recommend you just watch it and see for yourself. I would say that for movies that I love and couldn't recommend enough to you. I would say watch it and see for yourself. You don't have to agree with me. You know, go in with your own perspective. And I'm not trying to slant anybody here today from not seeing it. I'm not trying to warp anybody's perspective, or I don't want to plant seeds. If you're the kind of person that does like to watch reviews or read reviews for going to see a movie, by the way, neither am I, then you're not watching this anyway, so you're all good. But if you decide to click just for the heck of it because you like me, hi, first of all, thank you. Second, if you decide to do that, I hope I haven't poisoned you against it. Don't let me do that, okay? The stuff that I didn't care for it, about, you know, maybe that stuff won't bother you. Maybe you'll come out of this, again, maybe you'll come out of this loving it. But you know what? You won't know till you give it a chance. Do you plan on watching this movie? Okay? Is that something you want to do? Do you want to spend the time it's going to take to watch this? Are you even a fan of Adam Sandler's stuff at all? Are you agreeing with me to some degree? And you're like, well, I don't know if we even needed a sequel. Or do you think I have no idea what I'm talking about? I honestly want to know. I answer every comment here on the YouTube. So whatever you got for me, please do me a favor. Hit me in the comments. Let me know what you think. In the meantime, stay tuned for a whole lot more. And don't forget, kids, to like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications so you don't miss any future content from Boink Studios. Thanks for watching Tom Clark Reviews, and we'll see you next time, kids.